I got to say that Malik McClain was a guy that maybe I bought too much into the spring game, but a lot of the talk surrounding the spring game from this past season was that he was obviously a guy to look out for. He caught 17 balls for 206, 3 touchdowns. He got 33 balls in 2 seasons at Florida State, but he has decided to hit the transfer portal. You consider that to be a significant loss?
Significant? No. Loss, yes, though, because I think he was the next up guy. And the problem is that wide receiver room got really, really crowded very, very quick. This time last year, it was Johnny Wilson, and we were like, okay, guy had 3 catches last year. You know, who cares? 6'7" guy can't catch. Micah Pittman, who cares? Guy can't do this. Winston Wright, then he got in a wreck. And then, you're looking at the guys they brought in, and it was a bunch of, who knows, a lot of unknown variables until the season. And everybody just exploded and did their thing. And Johnny Wilson became somebody that you have to really attest for. Then you got guys like, again, Micah Pittman. We were just having an argument in my group chat about Micah Pittman and his significance. And I told somebody, you're crazy. Number 4 is just like he is a not just a role player, because I don't want to diminish or disrespect what he is, but he is the guy that's willing to do all the dirty work. You need that guy. He's blocking, he's running slants, he's sacrificing his body, he's returning kicks, he's selling peanuts, he's doing everything that you need to make this organization run properly. And then you've got guys who, like Pokey Wilson, was able to come in and do his stuff, but guys who are like really on the cusp. And the problem is the guys that were recruited in were just guys, and none of them have really stood out to be that guy. And they're bringing in some guys. Akeem Williams is a 5-star prospect. He didn't come to sit the bench. He came to play. You've got, not Goldie Lawrence. Goldie Lawrence is a kid who's coming in. I'm trying to think of the other wide receiver, the 4, Vandarius Jacobs. He's coming in, a speedy guy. Winston Wright's healthy. The receiver room is going to be competitive from day one. And what happens is guys not named Saban or Smart or even Ryan Day have not figured out this formula to get guys to wait their turn. Because I think if he would have waited one more season, everything Malik McClain would have wanted would have been right there in his lap. Same concept even with my guy Trayshawn Ward, who just left last week. I think Trayshawn Ward could have everything that Trayshawn Ward wants in the NFL could have been received or achieved if he had stayed at Florida State. It's not, the NFL is almost becoming like how college, and I tell high school recruits this all the time. Look at when you watch this draft, and as a guy who covers it, has seen trends, I'm giving people a homework assignment. Notice everybody who's getting drafted high isn't your 1,500-yard receiver. You're going to see a guy get drafted in the early second round, third round, that's got 600 yards receiving. But you know what he is going to be? He's going to be 6'2", running a 4.4. You're going to see a running back that didn't have as much banging on his body, that's going to get drafted in those middle rounds, which is probably where Trayshawn's going to go anyway, that didn't have as much wear and tear on their body. But they split carries because the NFL is not looking for guys just with a ton of production. They're looking for body types, and they're looking for things that fit the system. Can you do what you think they're going to do? You don't believe me? Look at right now. Who's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now currently? I called him Trash Josh Allen. The Jags drafted good Josh Allen from Kentucky. Buffalo drafted Trash Josh Allen. Why did I call him trash? He only threw for damn near 1,000 yards at quarterback. Every time he played anybody with a pulse, he didn't look good. But my partner told me, look at his arm. He's got a big arm. He can make all the throws. He's athletic. He can do these things. And where did he get drafted? High. Translates into the NFL. It's why people talk about Anthony Richardson from the University of Florida. Stats aren't stellar, but he's considered a top 6 pick in this year's draft because you know what he can do? He can throw the ball a country mile. He's going to run 4.5. He's big. He's fast. He's physical. And they believe that they can teach you some things that you didn't learn in college. So Kirby and those guys, heck, Trayvon Walker, first overall pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars, had 5 sacks. 5 sacks. I've been arguing with people now he's played well, but he ain't got no sacks. You don't draft a guy first overall compared to Aiden Hutchinson, who actually had a body of work with a whole bunch of sacks. But what they did was they saw he played in a system where it was a ton of cats. He was one of the ones that stood out, which is what you got to do these days. You got to stand out. He stood out in a room full of cats, and that's what gets you drafted. I think that's where Mike will eventually get to that point. But right now, it's guys who he hasn't recruited in that. Like the guys who are leaving are guys he hasn't really recruited or been able to build that and latch on. But it's coming soon.